Successful club series, and I'm planning to deliver the project Evaluate to Motivate. All of us over here are evaluators in some form or the other. Once we become a general evaluator or once we become a personal evaluator. But what happens when we tend to give that evaluation? We tend to either become too personalized. Oh, she's my friend, I better give her a good evaluation, and we not want to dishearten her. Or we might give such an evaluation which might be good, but it might be harsh as well, which may not be liked by the speaker of the day. By doing this, we only tend to either hurt a person or we tend to, enlighten or guide that person. But that cannot happen every time. So, to have a proper evaluation, we need to give them proper information which need to be beneficial for them at each and every stage when they have done their other projects, be it from your icebreaker or your inspirational speech or be your advanced series. Give them proper guidelines when giving them feedbacks, that also helps. And help them to make improvements, because if you do not help them, then they are not the ones who are going to improve themselves. You are the ones who act as a stepping stone for them, as a backbone to them. If you are not a backbone to them, how do you expect them to sit or rely on something that they've never attempted before? Starting off with today's presentation, Evaluate to Motivate. For the guests who are here, I'll just go into the brief stages of our communication track and leadership track. The communication track starts off with the completing communicator, which is 10 projects, followed by the advanced communicator bronze. Under advanced communicator bronze, you end up taking 2 advanced manuals. For example, be the storytelling or the humorous speeches or the interpretive reading, and then followed by that is advanced communicator silver, and then you have advanced communicator gold. When it comes to the leadership track, you have completed leader. That's again 10 projects that we do where you have to do certain roles. There is your, as our general evaluator mentioned, the grammarian, the listener, the R counter. Even your general evaluator and personal evaluator tends to be one of the most important assignee roles for your completed leadership manual. Followed by that, you have your advanced leader bronze and advanced leader silver. At the end of advanced leader silver and advanced communicator gold, once you achieve both of this, then I suppose everyone knows what you are aiming for, the distinguished Toastmaster. That's the very important award. This is how I've just given a brief of the educational and the leadership, basically the educational program of Toastmasters International. As I already mentioned about the evaluation, I'll go down to the very first pointer for today, that's effective evaluation which benefits speakers by. I suppose everyone can see that?
Yes.
Okay. The 3 important goals here. Provide immediate feedback. We have our evaluation session, and once the speaker has delivered his or her project, they would really want to know, okay, how have I done? How have I achieved my project? Whether I have stuck to the time limits, because you do not know whether you actually stuck to the time limits or you were, above the time limits. For example, I was giving my 4th speech, and even though my mentor and my evaluator said that the time limit was 5 to 7 minutes, I exceeded by 7 minutes and 31 seconds. And 1 second made a lot of difference. So you really do not know that when you immediately delivered your speech. You have some kind of intuition building within you, like, okay, have I stuck to the time limit? Have I achieved everything? Have I used the word of the day? You would really tense. So it's better for an evaluator to give an immediate feedback, which helps not only the speaker to calm down his or her intuition, but it even gives an entire idea to the club how you can improvise if you're planning to give a speech on and some of the same kind of lines. Like if I gave a topic on dreams, and another friend of mine was trying to give a speech on dreams. So it was an advantage to her not to repeat the same mistakes that I had committed. Offering methods of improvement pointer number 2. When you, while doing your projects, you always tend to give proper improvement pointers. Like instead of, what you can do is, when you felt, okay, that you could have used more, less number of jargons, or you could have had more, more number of mental pictures. In your fourth speech, I'm just taking the example of project number 4, that's creating mental images. You have a proper scene in front of you, but you know something is lacking. So when you figure out what's lacking, you can always tell them that you could have improved upon this particular aspect, so that you will not have such a problem when you're delivering your next project while creating a mental image. Building and maintaining self-esteem. I think this is one of the most important pointers that an evaluator should keep or tend to remember while giving an evaluation, is to build and maintain self-esteem. Not to let go of your self-esteem, as I mentioned in the beginning. Don't be so good with your project speaker, or don't be so harsh that at one point of time they stop looking towards you, or they feel, okay, they know what their safe zone is, or which is their part of area. By doing this, at times you tend to lose your self-esteem, because this is what I saw during one of the meets that I had, that my mentor come evaluator, creating this kind of safe zone and harsh zone, people stopped approaching that particular mentor come evaluator, because they knew, okay, that particular mentor is going to give the best evaluation for person X, and going to give a sort of okay kind of evaluation for person Y. So why do we approach that person? So that kind of thing shouldn't be built up, because that actually asks upon your self-esteem. Moving down to second pointer, using the tell and sell approach. While doing the tell and sell approach, it needs to be a proper 100% give and 100% take. That's what's said and then it basically requires for an evaluator to listen to the person who's giving his speech. What is the point when a project giver or speaker is done with his speech and you haven't paid attention to it? What's the point listening to a speech? It's rather you do not give that 100% to it, or give full 100% to it. Look, listen with the proper detailing word to word of what the speaker has spoken. Matter of what, 5 to 7 minutes? Can't anyone do that much by concentrating for at least 7 minutes and 30 seconds? Be on the safer side. I think if you all are ready to give that 7.5 minutes and are ready to listen what a particular speaker is saying, I think there's not only something for any person to take back home, but when you give an evaluation, you're giving a right and a proper evaluation, because you took an 100%. Now it's your time to give back the 100%. It makes the meeting more effective. It makes the meeting more, efficient. There are no conventional disagreements as such. Okay, I gave my speech for 7.5 minutes. But what did I get in return? It's like what? 1 minute evaluation, which had no sense. What did the evaluator ask? Time limit, outcomes, word of the day, etc., etc., etc. What's the point? Take 100%, give 100%. That's what even I completely believe in being an evaluator. It allows the speaker to be focused on what is being said. For example, Mr. Prashant, I'm just taking an example. You've given your speech here. It is my duty in whatsoever manner that I give out the effective evaluation. But in return, it is your duty as well to hear what I have been saying. For example, project number 7. I felt that you had a lot of research in your project, but it was more about beating around the bush. Instead of beating about the bush, you could have come directly to the topic. So I am trying to give a proper evaluation. So it's the duty of Prashant to listen to what I'm saying and incorporate these changes for project number 8. And particularly the new members who have joined into Toastmasters, I think that they should be given some time gap so that they actually learn how an evaluation happens, and at least project number 5 should be completed for them so that they at least know how to evaluate in the project 5. And as we've always had a particular rule in college and with all the clubs that we have in college, that project 8 and above should be always delivered outside and should be received an external mentoring, because when that happens, you do get a variety of what other people think and how other people feel as to what you are saying. When I went for my 10th project, I think that was the first time I actually approached an external evaluator, because that time we had such a thing saying that our area governors could also evaluate and mentor our 8th and above projects. For the 10th project, I suggested to be by one of my senior area governor, Shruti Srinivasan. She told me approach Kumran Kethi. And she had given a beautiful description about Kumran sir, like he is this, he is that, and he's one of our charter members. And I was like, okay, fine, I know Kumran sir, okay, he's a good evaluator, I'll got that. But when I actually met him, when I got my speech mentor, I actually realized the value of what people actually talk about him. The way he evaluated my speech, the way he mentored it, it actually framed it into a proper 10 to 15 minutes speech, and it was supposed to be 8 to 10 minutes speech. The amount of humor he brought in, the amount of seriousness, I feel that's what an evaluator should do. It should have a proper blend of both humor and seriousness, because if there's continuous seriousness, the person might be like, listen to one, out to the other. But if there's a mixture of both serious and humor, they will actually pay attention towards it. The third point, though, how to evaluate effectively. Whenever we talk about how to effectively evaluate effectively, this always lies a question in everyone's mind. Even though you win the district champion or you win the division contest for human evaluation, you all might be the best evaluators in the town, might be like district people. But what happens when you're in front of your own club members? You tend to tremble. So just to keep this a little short and brief as to few pointers to how we can make our evaluation very effective, quick and spontaneous. It could be before the speech. Before the speech, meet your speaker whom you're going to evaluate. Get details about the speech. Get few liners, like for example, you have something in a speech like, oh, the yummy pastries from Just Bake a Sweet Chariot, or those fighting scenes by Steven Spielberg, or those romantic scenes by Shah Rukh Khan. Get such liners from your speaker. Might be it could help in evaluating, because you would get a small kind of hint. Okay, what is she trying to speak, or what he is trying to speak? They might give you the title, but you do not know what's hidden in that title. It's actually a big question mark, a big mystery. Might be a few pointers will actually help. Show your interest towards it. Do not show any disinterestment in it. Even though your speaker is talking, you might talk nonsense, you might talk crap, but still pay attention, show interest in it, because you shouldn't let him get disinterested. Personalize your language. Keep it a one-to-one conversation. It would be more better. Rather than giving a personal evaluation to the entire club, keep it one-to-one, that will help. Evaluate the speech and not the person. This is one thing which is very important for any Toastmaster sitting out here today. Do not evaluate the person. Please evaluate the speech that he has given. Do not judge the person by what he or she is wearing. Do not judge the person by whether he is the first speaker or the last speaker. Go by what she has spoken or what he has spoken. And last, promote self-esteem again. Avoid being disingenuous. That's the fourth pointer. Honest feedback and not beating around the bush. I've done the fourth pointer. I think that is something which should be very, more effective here, because when you do not give a honest feedback, the person is in a completely different picture. Okay, I gave a best speech. I can write something like this next time as well, but not going to happen, right? So, to conclude with this, connect to your opening statement, summarize your key pointers, give a personal story and an example, encourage to your listeners and apply what they have learned. With this, I leave the floor open to all the upcoming evaluators. Over the MC.